Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you so much for the chance. I'm Andi Masriadi Tarmin as the moderator of today's presentation. And I'm here as the representative from the third group, and our material is the cohesion and coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post. Okay, and I would like to introduce our group members. Yeah, the first one is me, Andi Masriadi, and Andi Amelia Ramadhani, Asmadin, Andi Dian Islamiati, Andi Enda Pratiwi, Andi Padauleng, Ani Kurniati, and Kurnia Rahman. Okay, and the outlines of our topic today is the introduction, the methodology, discussion, and conclusion. Okay, and for the abstract, as we know that the concept of discourse involves three dimensions that are as language use, communication of beliefs, human cognition, and interaction in social situation. As a language use, discourse consists of two elements, cohesion and coherence. Newspaper is very familiar today. One of the famous newspaper in Indonesia is the Jakarta Post. The most essential article in a newspaper is its editorial. Therefore, the research has been intended to find cohesion and coherence devices of the editorials in the Jakarta Post. In this research substantive that data were text consisting of cohesion and coherence devices. The sources were editorials in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition that consisted of 28 editorial articles that the data was analyzed using identity method. Result of the analysis showed that editorials in the Jakarta Post, May 2011, contain all kinds of cohesion and coherence devices. The editorials contain in grammatical cohesion, reference, ellipsis, substitution, and conjunction, and lexical cohesion like reiteration and collocation. Coherence devices repetition, personal reference transition are also contained in the data. Okay, and for the introduction is language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols used for human communication. All of symbolic phenomena which occur in the universe are described by language. By language, people get knowledge about the universe, the arrangement, and the relevance of language used in a communication can be explained as a discourse. The term of discourse itself is very ambiguous. In Linguistic Stubbs 1983, page 1, states that discourse is a study of the organization of language above sentence or above clause, and therefore to study larger linguistic units such as conversational exchanges or written text, it follows that study of discourse is wider than other linguistic studies that only focus in sentence analysis. There are two terms that are very fundamental in discourse analysis, which studies the relation among a text within the other text that are cohesion and coherence. Cohesion is the use of language forms to indicate semantic relations between elements in a discourse. Coherence is grammatical and semantic interconnectedness between sentences that form a text. According to Van Dyck, 1997, page 9, coherence is how the meaning of sentence in a discourse hang together. It is the semantic structure, not its formal meaning, which create coherence in a discourse analysis. Sometimes it is difficult to describe and differentiate the terms of cohesion and coherence.
Okay, thank you for the chance. I will explain about methodology first. So, this research observed cohesion and coherence of the editorials in the Jakarta Post, May 2011 edition as the object of the research. And to identify and analyze the object of the research, the researcher determined the research types, which is fully a qualitative research. Uh, in linguistic research, there are two methods of gathering data, namely observing method and interviewing method. This research used observing method to gather data from 28 editorial articles of the Jakarta Post May edition in researching the pattern and function of cohesion and coherence of the research object. To analyze the data, there are three primary methods. There are identity method, distributional method, and introspective method. The research used identity method. So next is a discussion. First, cohesion in the editorial of the Jakarta Post. So cohesion in discourse means solidity form which structurally establish syntactical tie. Mulyono in Mulyana asserts that a good and solid discourse occurs from cohesive sentences. Furthermore, cohesion refers to the various linguistic means like grammatical, lexical, and phonological, by which sentences sticks together and are linked into larger units of paragraphs or stanzas or chapters. So cohesive relation is signed by using cohesive device. According to Halliday and Hassan, there are two cohesion devices, namely grammatical cohesion and lexical cohesion. Grammatical cohesion is realized through the grammar and lexical one is realized through vocabulary.
Okay, so the next material that I'm going to explain is grammatical cohesion. According to Halliday and Hassan, cohesion occurs when the interpretation of some elements in the discourse is dependent on that of another. So when this happens, a relation of cohesion is set up and the two elements, the presupposing and the presupposed, are integrated into a text. Halliday and Hassan also classify grammatical cohesion into four classifications. They are reference, substitution, ellipsis, and conjunction. And then I'm going to explain about reference. The first is about the definition. Reference is the specific nature of the information that is signal for retrieval. Based on the place of reference, the interpretation of reference can be divided into endopora, which is textual, and exoporic, which is situational reference. When the interpretation of a reference lies within the boundaries of text, it is called endoporic relation. This relation forms cohesive ties within the text. There are two kinds of endoporic relations. They are anapora and catapora. Both anaporic and cataporic references use personal reference or pronominal reference or demonstrative reference and comparative reference. And then the references found in the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. For the personal reference, it founds that in the editorial of the Jakarta Post 2011 edition consists of personal pronoun and possessive determiners. Several personal pronouns above are endoporic and include anaporic references except the personal pronoun it, that is cataporic reference. There is also an exoporic personal pronoun that is we. Almost all of the possessive determiners above are endoporic and anaporic except our, which is exoporic. And the demonstrative references found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are the, this, those, here, and there. Those are endoporic because the interpretation of the references lies within boundaries of text. Endopora consists of anapora and catapora, and the reference the, this, those, and here are anaporic because they are presupposition of something or someone that has gone before. And different from that, the demonstrative here is cataporic. The comparative references found in the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are equal, similar, other, more, less, and as. That are deictic numerative comparative references. Equal, similar, and other are general reference, where equal is for identity, similar is for similarity, and then other is for difference. The comparative preference equal is anaphoric because it presupposition of something or someone that has gone before. Similar, other, more, less are cataphoric as the presupposition is in the following sentence.
For the change, I'm going to present about substitution. Okay, substitution is a relation between linguistic items such as word or phrases or in the other word. It is a relation on the lexicogrammatical level, the level of grammar and vocabulary or linguistic form. In English, the substitution may function as a noun, as a verb, or as a clause. Then Halliday and Hassan divide the three types of substitution, namely nominal, verbal, and clausal. Next, nominal substitution found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition is one. The nominal substitution one function as the head of nominal group. It is conclude that nominal substitution one or one substitute only for an item which is itself head of a nominal group and it replaces a noun phrase in the sentence. Next, the verbal substitution in English is do. The substitution do is almost always anaphoric. There is a verbal substitution do which substitutes quick to jump the defense of their two fellow politicians. In one of the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, it is concluded that the verbal substitution occurs on verbal group and it substitutes a verb or a verb phrase. Next, the words used as usual substitution are so and not. The clausal substitution found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, not, which substitutes much of an anger has not been found at Yudhoyono. Next slide. Okay. Ellipsis. The essential characteristic of ellipsis is something that is present in the selection of underlying or systematic option that omit in the structure. It is divided into three kinds, namely nominal ellipsis, verbal ellipsis, and clausal ellipsis. Nominal ellipsis found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are those, some, the other, most, and largest. Verbal ellipsis in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition, the words can, will, and accept.
Okay, thank you so much for the chance that given to me. So hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. So today in this moment, in this video presentation, I would like to explain a little bit about conjunction in discourse analysis and also lexical cohesion. So let's go to the first one, conjunction. So as we know that conjunction means that the word that we use to connect a word, a phrase, a sentence, or even a clause. And in here, in discourse analyze, conjunctive elements are cohesive not in themselves but indirectly by their specific meanings, and they are not primarily devised for reaching out into the preceding text, but they also express certain meanings which presuppose the presence of other components in the discourse. All right. According to the Holiday in An Introduction to Functional Grammar 1985, so they classify conjunction into three categories. The first is elaboration, the second is extension, and the last is enhancement. So let's go to the first, elaboration. So elaboration means one clause that expands another by elaborating on it. So in here, elaboration divided into two categories. So the first is apposition and the second one is clarification. So apposition itself elaborates other words or phrase or clause by expository or exemplification. And there were some elaborations in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011. So the word that is an opposition that is expository, and also the word for example, it is also an exemplification. The second categorized from elaboration, there is a clarification. So clarification elaborates other words or phrase or clause by reinstated or summarize them. So for example, the word rather is a kind of clarification which is corrective, and in particular is also the same, but the word is particularizing. All right. The second one from conjunction, there is extension. So extension means one clause expands another by extending beyond it, by adding some new element and giving an exception to it, or offering an alternative. So there are three categorized in here. The first is about addition, the second one adversative, and the third one variation. The first one, addition, acts to structurally coordinate or linking by adding to the presupposed item divided into positive and negative. For positive, we can say that and, also, moreover, and so on. And there is also in the negative one, we can mention like nor or neither or so on. So the second and the first edition, this one, there is the word nor in the Jakarta Post. So the conjunction nor in here is an addition because the word presupposes additional item. And the second one is adversative. Adversative is a conjunction which relates two clauses that state contrast each other. So for example, the word but. So but in here is a conjunction which relates to contrast sentences, so the word is adversative. And the third one, there is a variation. Variation includes replacive instead or subtractive except, and also alternative word types. So the word except in the Jakarta Post text is a variation extension conjunction. Okay, the third one or the last one from conjunction itself. So there is enhancement. Enhancement means one clause expands another by embellishing around it, by qualifying it with some circumstantial feature of time, place, cause, or condition. So enhancement involves spatial temporal, manner, causal conditional, and also matter. And there were some enhancement in these editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. So there is the word soon. So the word soon is a spatio-temporal because it is being used as text-creating cohesive device in terms of metaphorical space. And the second or the last, there is the word therefore and yet. So both therefore and yet are causal conditionals because they both expand and qualify clauses or sentences with a circumstantial feature of condition. And the next slide is about lexical cohesion. So in here I will tell a brief explanation only, or a brief description about lexical cohesion. So lexical cohesion comes about through the selection of items that are related in some way to those that have gone before. And lexical cohesion, there are types actually in lexical cohesion. So they are the first repetition, the second one synonymy, and also the collocational or collocation. So for all of this will be more detail explained by the following speakers.
Well, hello everyone, I'm Andi Padaulang and I will explain about the rhetorication and collocation. As we know that lexical cohesion consists of rhetorication, synonym, and collocation, but based on Halliday and Hassan, it consists of rhetorication that there are repetition, synonym or near synonym, superordinate and general word, and collocation. Some repetitions in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition are hashtag and peace. The findings above show that repetition is always repeated by the word in preceding sentences, and the words will be repeated in series of sentences. In the editorials, there are some synonyms or near synonyms. The words are grave that refers back to career, firms which refers back to company, and disciplines which refers back to missing. From the examples, it is concluded that synonym or near synonym used to meaning sameness in a clause or sentence. Synonym or near synonym constitutes as lexical cohesion to make the sentence to be cohesive. Superordinate is term of words that refer to the upper class itself. Subordinates in the editorials of the word bribery that refers to upper class, which is more general. The discriminalization is in other words, criminalization is a superordinate of bribery. Besides the subordinate, there are some general words in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. General word, the good things and one thing, generalize the following points of sentence in the data. Okay, the second of lexical cohesion is collocation. Collocation has three restrictions. There are some are based wholly on the meaning or the item, some are based on range, and some are in the strictest sense. The following are the examples of the collocation in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. The word injuries is a strong collocation with the word violence. Chance of collocation are investor, exporter, and importer. The words are collocational based solely on their range. It is concluded that collocation is found in the editorials of the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition. Uses the words that have strong collocational bone and make one sentence cohesive to another.
Okay, thank you to moderator of Group 3 for the opportunity given to me as speaker 7 on behalf of Anikuniati and my material include coherence in the editorials of the Jakarta Post. In general, coherence is the grammatical and semantic interconnectedness between sentences that form a text. Coherence is how the meaning of sentences in a discourse hang together. In microanalysis, coherence occurs from the structure of discourse, while in macro analysis, the term coherence develops into topics or themes of discourse. De Angelo asserts that there are some techniques to achieve coherence in a paragraph. They are repetition of keywords, of phrases, transition, pronoun reference. In coherence speak, the three types are accepted as semantic items interconnected with the text that had been the context of the coherence signs. Next slide. A repetition. Repetition in coherence structural is always repeated by the word in preceding sentence. The words will be repeated in series of sentences. This process creates a relationship, a lingual unit to be cohesive. For example, we highly praise the hostage realize no matter the method and how the experiment we realize it as it had succeeded in bringing all of the 20 men back home safely and despite the delayed rescue operation by Indonesian military troops, which was taken only after it was assured that all hostages were safe. They were hashtag release process that served a two thumbs up up as it broke the record in 7 held hostage, achieved English death 150 days.
Okay, I'm the last speaker for this group, so I will talk about some features of coherence based on Jakarta Post in May edition. So in this time, I will talk about two features. It's about transition and pronoun reference. So starting for the transition. Transition is one of the coherence features which consists of conjunction. As we know that the conjunction express certain meaning which presuppose the presence of the other component in the discourse. Both conjunctions and transitions are words and phrases that connect ideas together. Conjunction are words that connect two phrases or clauses, whereas the transition are words or phrases that indicate the relationship between two sentences or paragraphs. Transitions are words or phrases that help bring coherence to a paragraph by signaling the relationship between the sentences. In the other words, we can say that the transition help ideas flow from the sentence to the other sentences. Common transitional word, for example, again, also, beside, even more important, furthermore, therefore, and so on. So let's check the example. Based on Jakarta Post, it said that education has remained a non-priority sector regardless of its huge budget. Therefore, it's come as no surprise that the state has failed to provide the decent reward for its teacher. Based on the example, the transition signal therefore builds the wholeness or coherency among the sentences in the text. It is concluded that the transitions are considered as special vocabulary words that spread out the paragraph or the text. So, we can say that the transition makes the movement between sentences in the paragraph smooth. Okay, next to the the third feature is about pronoun references. Pronoun incoherence is the specific nature of the information that is signaled for the retrieval. Pronoun incoherence is the same with the explanation of its reference as the part of grammatical cohesion. As one of my members has explained about it, and pronouns are used to link or connect the sentence by referring to the preceding nouns or pronouns. Pronouns can also help create the paragraph that are easy to read by eliminating the wordiness and unnecessary repetition. Using pronouns helps to connect the sentences to one another by referring from one sentence back to the sentence earlier in the paragraph. Using pronouns, it is important to make it clear what or who the pronoun is referring to. So let's check the example. Based on Jakarta Post, it states that News newspaper carry a touching reaction of Indomaret employees after being informed of the closure of the shop where they work in Jakarta. Employees wept because they knew that they would soon join the list of millions of unemployed Indonesians. Hopefully, the promise of Indomaret and Alfamart to rotate them to nearby stores would become a reality. So, based on the example, we can see the use of pronoun they is to hang the meaning of one sentence to the other in the discourse. By the pronoun, the reader will understand that every sentence in the discourse is a building of an understanding. So, the description concludes that pronouns is way to achieve coherence of a discourse. So, in this time, I will talk about the conclusion. So, this paper has examined cohesion and coherence as the aspect of the editorial of the Jakarta Post May 2011. From the discussion, the cohesion of the editorial in the Jakarta Post May 2011 edition consists of grammatical and lexical cohesion. The grammatical cohesion involves reference. It's about the personal, demonstrative, and comparative. And next is about the substitution. It consists of nominal, verbal, and clause and causal. And then The ellipsis is consists of nominal, verbal, and causal, and then it's about the next features is about conjunction. It consists of elaborative, extension, and enhancement. And if we talk about the lexical cohesion involves about the repetition, synonyms, and near synonym. And it's also about the superordinate and general word. And for the last is about the collocation. And next, we talk about the coherence of the editorial in the Jakarta Post May 2011. It consists of repetition, transition, and pronoun reference. And next, this paper has also created the description of the ambiguity between the cohesion and coherence aspect, and finally concludes that there is a relationship between cohesion and the coherence. And then the fundamental difference between them is that the cohesion is syntactically aspect, and the coherence is the semantically aspect. And for the result of the study of the cohesion and coherence of the editorial in the Jakarta Post in May edition, provide the practical and theoretical information about discourse analysis. For the practical, the researcher explained about the cohesion and coherence devices that are very essential, because in the writing process, and then we move to the theoretically, and research of the discourse is still very rare. It's caused by the main reasons, because this paper at least can be used as a map in understanding the dimension of the limitation study of this course. So I think that's all from me as the last speaker. Back to the moderator.
Okay, and that was the last slide from our PowerPoint slides, and it means that this is also the last part of our presentation. So thank you so much, everybody, for your kind and nice attention, and also thank you for every of my group members for your endeavors.